Good morning, everybody. It's Crafting Journey. Welcome back to another edition of Crafting and Crime Daily. This morning, we're going to listen to the closing arguments in the case of Alan Brown. He has 9 counts. The judge is currently reading all the charges, which include reckless endangerment, shooting the dog, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he's still reading the charges. So, I can bring that in. I've got the coffee brewing. I thought, I'm going to watch this anyway. So I thought I'd hang out with you guys today to see if you are interested in watching it with me. Yes. If you're watching back on the replay, just hit hashtag replay. Well, don't hit it. Say hashtag replay and I'll know you stopped by. Thanks. So, oh my goodness. This is what I woke up to this morning. This judge reading the jury instructions. I've already walked the dogs. The these instructions are very, very lengthy because the reckless endangerment charge, there's 3 individuals, the 3 officers that were all in the line of fire. How the defense did question this, how you can be all 3 that, they're not in a straight line. How can they all 3 being in different locations be in line of fire? I don't know. I think this jury won't deliberate too long. I think this will probably be like the quickest deliberation in history, except that they have to fill out the form. That might take them a little while, but I don't anticipate a long deliberation in this case. This case only lasted 2 days. Well, not including the picking the jury, but so maybe 3 or 4 if you include picking the jury. Very, very quick case. The judge has already said he's going to order them lunch. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to pull this up on my iPad so I can follow along. Oh man, I need coffee. Ooh. Last night was brutal, brutal, brutal. With those wildfires going, my sinuses were like going. My sister finally found some Claritin. I took some Claritin and was able to finally fall asleep. Okay, YouTube. All right, I want my channel. Pull that up. Everybody's sleeping in today. That's good. That's fine. There's Lois. Hey, Lois. Good morning. What happened? Why am I frozen? Okay, I'm not frozen anymore. Good morning, Lois. Okay, I'm waiting to hear the coffee beep indicating it's ready to pour. I have my diamond painting back out. I put away the crochet thing. There was something, I got some kind of an ineligibility thing on that video. I'm wondering why. Let's see if I can pull it up and figure out why. The judge is still reading the instructions right now. So let me put a video and see what about a crochet video. Why would a crochet video? Let's see what they say. Let's see YouTube. Yo. A copyright claim? What? Why? That doesn't make sense. Maybe on the pattern, the crochet pattern? I mean, it's the crochet patterns out there in public. How could it be a copyright claim? Well, that don't matter. Whatever. That's crazy. All right. I'm not going to challenge it. I don't really care. It's ridiculous. Hi, Gail. Good morning. Yeah, apparently there's a copyright claim on the crochet video that I didn't show the pattern. I'm just doing the pattern. Why would there be a copyright? Whatever. That's silly. Let me see if there's any more details on it. Let's see. Content. That bugs me. That bugs me. Where is it here? The video contains copyrighted material, partially blocked. What? See details. They found the it wasn't the crochet pattern. Oh my god, this is funny. Apparently the Marvin Gaye song was playing at the end of the video. Did I play any Marvin Gaye music, Sexual Healing, at the end of the video? What in the world? At 30 minutes into the video, they said I played Marvin Gaye music. You guys, I don't even, what in the heck? Oh my gosh. All right, I'm laughing. Let's see what's going on in the courtroom here. I don't get to sing anymore. Why aren't my comments on the that's weird. Let me make this full screen for you guys.
Circumstances in this case bearing upon intent and knowledge. The juror's decision. If you are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that all three elements of this offense have been proved, you should find the defendant guilty. If you are not so satisfied, you must.
I'm going to go get my coffee. Be right back.
Count 8. Driving or operating a vehicle without the owner's consent, use of a dangerous weapon. The 8th count of the information charges that Alan M. Brown, on or about Thursday, October 21st, 2021, in the village of Bristol, the county Kenosha, the state of Wisconsin, did intentionally drive or operate a vehicle, a 2016 Buick Encore, without consent to the owner, Miguel Padilla Jr., during the carjacking of this vehicle, contrary to section 948.23 sub 3 and 939.63 1C of the Wisconsin statutes. To this charge, the defendant has entered a plea of not guilty, which means the state must prove every element of the offense charge beyond a reasonable doubt. The statutory definition of the crime: driving or operating a vehicle without owner's consent, as defined in 943 sub 23 sub 3 of the Criminal Code of Wisconsin, is committed by one who intentionally drives or operates a vehicle without consent of the owner. The state's burden of proof: before you may find the defendant guilty of this offense, the state must prove by evidence which satisfies you beyond a reasonable doubt that the following two elements were present. The elements of the crime the state must prove: number one, the defendant intentionally drove or operated a vehicle without consent of the owner. Drive means to exercise physical control over the speed and direction of a vehicle while it is in motion. Operate means that the physical manipulation or activation of any of the controls of the vehicle is necessary to put it into motion. The defendant knew that the owner of the vehicle did not consent to the driving or operating the vehicle.
I just remembered where I played that song in the video from last night when I showed that guy on the this is so funny. When Tia sent me a brief, one of those little 30-second videos or 10-second videos that you can put up on Facebook or Instagram of this really sexy 65-year-old man. Well, he was apparently dancing around to that music, and that's hilarious. I'm not going to bother with it, but I just think that's super funny. All right, back to the trial.
But also the defendant did so while possessing a dangerous weapon. If you find the defendant guilty, you must answer the following question: did the defendant possess a dangerous weapon while committing this crime? Dangerous weapons means any firearm, whether loaded or unloaded. A firearm is a weapon that acts by force of gunpowder. Before you may answer this question, yes, you must be satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant committed the crime while possessing a dangerous weapon. If you're not so satisfied, you must answer the question no. Count 9. Attempted escape from custody resulting from legal arrest for a crime. The ninth count in the information charges at Alan M. Brown on or about Friday, October 29th, 2021. Village of Pleasant Prairie, the County Kenosha, the state of Wisconsin, attempted to escape from custody, having been lawfully arrested for a crime contrary to section 946.42 sub 3A and 939.32 of the Wisconsin statutes. To this charge, the defendant has entered a plea of not guilty, which means the state must prove every element of the offense charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Statutory definition of the crime. The crime intent to escape from custody is defined in 939.32 and 946.42 sub 3 of the Criminal Code of Wisconsin is committed by a person who, with intent to commit escape from custody, does acts towards the commission of that crime which demonstrate unequivocally under all the circumstances that he has formed that intent and would have committed the crime except for the intervention of another person or some other extraneous factor. State's burden of proof. Before you may find a defendant guilty of this offense, the state must prove by evidence which satisfies you beyond a reasonable doubt that the following two elements are present. The elements of the crime the state must prove. Number one, the first element of attempted escape from custody requires that the defendant intended to commit the crime of escape from custody. The crime of escape from custody is committed by one who intentionally escapes from custody when that custody resulted from a legal arrest for a crime. The elements of escape from custody are as follows. Number one, the defendant was in custody. Custody means the physical control of a person by a peace officer. A person also is in custody when temporarily outside of an institution for purposes of receiving medical care. Number two, the custody resulted from a legal arrest for a crime. An arrest for a crime is legal when the officer making the arrest has reasonable grounds to believe that person is committing or has committed a crime. First degree reckless endangering safety, possession of a firearm by an out-of-state felon, harassment of a police animal, mistreatment of an animal, failure to comply with an officer's duty to take into custody, and drive or operate a motor vehicle without owner's consent are all crimes. The defendant escaped from custody. Escape means to leave in any manner without lawful permission or authority. The escape from custody was intentional. This requires that the defendant intentionally escape from custody, that is, that the defendant had the mental purpose to escape. The crime charged of the defendant in this case, however, is not escape from custody as defined, but an attempt to commit the crime of escape from custody. The second element of attempted escape from custody requires the defendant that acts towards the commission of the crime of escape from custody, which demonstrates unequivocally under all the circumstances that the defendant intended to and would have committed the crime of escape from custody, except for the intervention of another person or some other extraneous factor, meaning unequivocally. Unequivocally means that no other inference or conclusion can reasonably or fairly be drawn from the defendant's acts under the circumstances. Meaning of another person. Another person means anyone but the defendant and may include the intended victim. Meaning of an extraneous factor. An extraneous factor is something outside the knowledge of the defendant or outside the defendant's control. Deciding about intent. You cannot look into a person's mind to find intent. Intent must be found and found at all from all the defendant's acts, words, and statements, if any, and from all the facts and circumstances in this case bearing upon intent. The jury's decision. If you are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that all the elements of the attempted escape from custody have been proved, you should find the defendant guilty. If you are not so satisfied, you must find the defendant not guilty. Burden of proof and a presumption of innocence. In reaching your verdict, examine the evidence with care and caution, act with judgment, reason, and prudence. Presumption of innocence. Defendants are not required to prove their innocence. The law presumes every person charged with the commission of offense to be innocent. This presumption requires a finding of not guilty unless in your deliberations you find it is overcome by evidence which satisfies you beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty. The state's burden of proof. The burden of establishing every fact necessary to constitute guilt is upon the state. Before you can return a verdict of guilty, the evidence must satisfy you beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty. Reasonable hypothesis. If you can reconcile the evidence upon any reasonable hypothesis consistent with the defendant's innocence, you should do so and return a verdict of not guilty. The meaning of reasonable doubt. The term reasonable doubt means a doubt based upon reason and common sense. It is a doubt for which a reason can be given, arising from a fair and rational consideration of the evidence or lack of evidence. It means such a doubt it would cause a person of ordinary prudence to pause or hesitate when called upon to act in the most important affairs of life. A reasonable doubt is not a doubt which is based on mere guesswork or speculation. A doubt which arises merely from sympathy or from a fear to return a verdict of guilt is not a reasonable doubt. A reasonable doubt is not a doubt such as may be used to escape the responsibility of a decision. While it is your duty to give the defendant the benefit of every reasonable doubt, you are not to search for doubt. You are to search for the truth. Verdict submitted for one defendant, multiple counts, separate verdict on each count required. The following forms of verdict will be submitted to you concerning the charges against the defendant, Alan M. Brown. Count one reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, not guilty of first-degree reckless endangering safety, to wit, Juan Avila, as charged in count one of the information. Another reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, guilty of first-degree reckless endangering safety, to wit, Juan Avila, as charged in count one of the information. Please answer the following question. Did the defendant use a dangerous weapon in committing this crime? Yes or no, mark one. Count two. One reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, not guilty of first-degree reckless endangering safety, to wit, Colin Coltrip, as charged in count two of the information. Another reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, guilty of first-degree reckless endangering safety, to wit, Colin Coltrip, as charged in count two of the information. Please answer the following question. Did the defendant use a dangerous weapon in committing this crime? Yes or no, check one. Count three, one reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, not guilty of first-degree reckless endangering safety, to wit, Terry Tiff, as charged in count three of the information. Another reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, guilty of first-degree reckless endangering safety, to wit, Terry Tiff, as charged in count three of the information. Please answer the following question. Did the defendant use a dangerous weapon in committing this crime? Yes or no? Check one. Count four. One reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, not guilty of possession of a firearm as charged in count four of the information. Another reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, guilty of possession of a firearm as charged in count four of the information. Count five. One reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, not guilty of a harassment of police animals as charged in count five of the information. Another reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, guilty of harassment of police animals as charged in count five of the information. Count six. One reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, not guilty of mistreating an animal as charged in count six of the information. Another reading. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, guilty of mistreating an animal as charged in count six of the information. Please answer the following question. Did the defendant cause injury to the animal and know that the animal was used by a law enforcement agency to perform agency functions or duties? Yes or no? Check 1. Did the defendant use a dangerous weapon in committing this crime? Yes or no? Check 1. Count 7. We, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, not guilty of failure to comply with an officer's attempt to take a person into custody as charged in count 7 of the information. Another reading, we, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, guilty of failure to comply with an officer's attempt to take a person into custody as charged in count 7 of the information. Count 8. One reading, we, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, not guilty of driving or operating a vehicle without owner's consent as charged in count 8 of the information. Another reading, we, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, guilty of driving or operating a vehicle without owner's consent as charged in count 8 of the information. Please answer the following question. Did the defendant possess a dangerous weapon while committing this crime? Yes or no? Check 1. Count 9. One reading, we, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, not guilty of attempted escape from custody as charged in count 9 of the information. Another reading, we, the jury, find the defendant, Alan M. Brown, guilty of attempted escape from custody as charged in count of the information. It is for you to determine whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty of each offense charged. You must make a finding as to each count of the information. Each count charges a separate crime, and you must consider each one separately. Your verdict for the crime charged in one count must not affect your verdict on any other count. I'm going to read to you again the stricken testimony instruction. During this trial, the court has ordered certain testimony to be stricken. Disregard all stricken testimony. I have further instructions to read that are not that long, but I will do those after the attorneys do their closings. With that, the state can do their closing. If we can move the podium and have a microphone available.
No, just the podium. Thank you, though. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First, I want to thank you very much for your time and attention to this case. This was 2 very long days of testimony. The defendant is presumed innocent, has a constitutional right to a jury trial, so I thank each and every one of you for being a part of that process. Throughout these last 2 days, the state presented 20 witnesses and over 20 exhibits for you to view. I told you on Tuesday that the majority of this case, counts 1 through 8, occurred in 33 seconds. You saw those 33 seconds over and over and over and over again. Again, as I said, that's the beauty of technology. You saw body camera, surveillance video, squad video. Not only of those 33 seconds in real time, but also slowed down and stabilized. And you saw the investigation that happened thereafter. Based on all that evidence, the state has undoubtedly proved this case well beyond a reasonable doubt. So let's look at the counts charged. The first 3 counts are first-degree recklessly endangering safety. The state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant endangered the safety of deputies Coultrip, Avila, and Tift when he recklessly fired at officers on 2 occasions. You heard testimony from Deputy Coultrip about that very first shot where they're running up the driveway and the defendant produces a firearm and with his right hand puts it between his left arm while looking back and recklessly fires behind him while moving at the 3 deputies behind him. Deputy Coltrip testified with clear memory how he heard the shot, how he saw the gas come from the firearm, and how it was at him. You heard testimony from Deputy Avila, how when the defendant was on the ground with canine rigs, the defendant fired towards officers. Deputy Avila, again, with clear memory, testified how he saw the flash of the muzzle, how it was at him, and how, for a brief moment, he thought that he had been hit. He talked about how he paused, kind of did an assessment, thought, maybe I'm hit in the head. Maybe this is it. I better at least get a shot off. And you see that in his body cam, how he's running and then kind of hesitates backwards and pulls up his firearm. That's him thinking that he's been hit, having seen that flash of a muzzle in his direction. And you heard testimony from Deputy Tift, who was within feet of the other officers, and how when the defendant again was on the ground with his canine, he saw the defendant shoot at him. This is criminally reckless conduct. Shooting at anyone creates a risk of death or great bodily harm. The defendant knew that when he fired willy-nilly behind him towards officers and when he fired at them head on while on the ground. He was aware that that conduct created a risk to those officers. And that risk showed utter disregard for human life. The defendant did not care if those officers died. He did not care if they were struck or injured. He had only one goal in mind, and that was to get out of there. As I said on Tuesday, he had gotten out of Chicago, he had gotten to Kenosha in this stolen vehicle, and he was looking to move on. He did not care about the life or safety of anyone who stood in his way. So when he fired at officers, it was for utter disregard of their life. And he did so while armed with that weapon. And we know that that weapon was a firearm. We know that it worked. We know that it fired 3 shots. We know that because we found 2 of the casings and because of what the officers saw. And I submit to you, he would have kept firing had that gun not jammed, had there not been a misfeed which prevented him from firing further. Count 4 is possession of a firearm. I think that one's pretty clear. He clearly had that firearm and used it against officers as well as canine rigs, which leads me to count 5, harassment of a police animal. Again, I think there's absolutely no doubt that the defendant intentionally struck canine rigs with a bullet, knowing full well that canine rigs was a working law enforcement animal and that he caused him injury. As the defendant was fleeing from officers, he looked behind him. He saw the officers. That's why he fired that first round. And when he looked behind him, he had to have seen canine rigs on a leash being held by Deputy Tift, who was in fully marked law enforcement uniform, and they were operating fully marked Kenosha County Sheriff's Deputy squad cars. So the defendant knew full well canine rigs was a law enforcement animal. And when canine rigs did his job, did what he's been trained to do for the last 10 years, and that is bite and hold the defendant, again, knowing full well he was an officer, took his firearm, pointed it directly at canine Riggs's head, and shot. But for the grace of God, canine Riggs is still here today. But he did sustain injuries. You saw pictures of his injuries, the entrance wound, middle of the dog's forehead, and the exit wound behind the right ear. You heard testimony from the treating veterinarian who talked about how his demeanor was dull, how he required anticonvulsant medication, antibiotics. He required a 3-day hospital stay, how they were worried about abscess, how he suffered the human equivalent of a concussion with a bruising to the inside of his brain. And that was undoubtedly caused by the defendant and done so intentionally. And that also goes to count 6, mistreatment of animal while armed. Again, he treated Canine Riggs in a cruel manner by shooting him. I don't know what could be more cruel than shooting an animal. He shot him again, point blank, in the head, intentionally, causing unjustifiable injury and unnecessary pain and suffering. Again, he knew that Canine Riggs was a police dog, and he used a weapon to cause him that injury, pain, and suffering. Count 7 is failure to comply with officers' attempt to take him into custody. Again, all the evidence has proven this beyond a reasonable doubt. The defendant intentionally refused to comply with officers' attempts to take him into custody when he remained at Benson's Corners and retreated and remained armed while doing so. Again, Mr. Brown had no intention of going into custody. He had no intention of being held responsible for any crimes committed by him. He had one goal: to get out of there and to escape. So regardless of lawful commands, regardless of a canine holding him down, he fled and refused to comply with their attempts to take him into custody. It was only after officers did what they hoped they never have to do on a job, which is shoot him. It was only after he was shot that he was taken into custody. Count 8 is operating a motor vehicle without owner's consent while use of a dangerous weapon. Again, I think the evidence has shown beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant drove or operated Miguel Padilla Jr.'s vehicle without his consent. You heard testimony from Chicago Police Department detectives, as well as local law enforcement agencies. The defendant knew he did not have consent to operate that vehicle based on the way that vehicle was procured. And he knew that. And he clearly possessed a firearm while operating that vehicle without consent. Not only did he have the firearm on his person when he fired at officers and Canine Riggs, in his backpack, the vehicle, were additional ammo, I believe 15 rounds in one pocket and another round in another pocket, and there was also a casing found on the ground. So he definitely and certainly possessed that firearm while operating that vehicle without consent. Again, all 8 of those counts within those 33 seconds. The last count occurred October 29th, several days later. While in custody, he was receiving medical treatment for the wounds he had sustained while fleeing from officers. He had been arrested for counts 1 through 8 and was clearly in custody and being guarded by Racine County Sheriff's deputies. You heard testimony from Deputy Beal, how he was target glancing, especially that fire exit or fire stairwell at the end of the hall. On October 29th, doctors told him that he was ready to be discharged, and they were getting ready to transport him to the Racine County Jail, when again, the defendant tried one last time not to be held responsible for his actions. He took that opportunity when he was not arm shackled to the bed to try and run. You heard testimony from Deputy Beal, how he lunged forward, how she thought he was lunging at her, but instead he ran past her, pushing her aside, and ran for the door. But for Deputy Beal's quick actions, he would have been successful. But Deputy Beal immediately turned around and basically tackled him to the ground. Put him back into custody. And again, absolutely no doubt was what his intention was there. Again, he had escaped from Chicago. He had tried to escape from Kenosha, and he was trying one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, jury, with all the evidence you've heard, the testimony, the exhibits, the body camera, there is absolutely no doubt in this case that the defendant is guilty, let alone a reasonable one. And there is absolutely no reasonable hypothesis in this case that's consistent with the defendant's innocence on any of these counts. So based on all that, ladies and gentlemen, I ask that when you go back in the jury room, that you find the defendant guilty of all 9 counts. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's have the defense closing. And if you could just state your name for the record so the transcript's correct.
McKenna Quinter. "33 seconds. From start to finish, the most important part of this case is 33 seconds. The state's correct in that. We heard a lot of testimony about those 33 seconds. We heard from Deputy Coltrip, Deputy Avila, Deputy Wyand, and Deputy Tift. They all came up here. They went over step by step by step their versions of what happened on that day. You heard lengthy testimony about it. But this incident wasn't lengthy. 33 seconds. It was quick, it was intense, it was stressful. All things that can leave a situation a little unclear, can make recall harder. But who could blame anyone for that in this type of situation, right? But even understanding that, that still leaves inconsistencies. There are not 4 victims in this case. There are 2. Christopher Johnson from the Wisconsin State Crime Lab came up here and testified to the evidence he collected. That's why he was on scene. That's his job. That's why the state brought him here to testify. He said they collected 2 .32 caliber shell casings. The state even asked, it's normal to have missing shell casings, right? He says, no, it's not normal. They used metal detectors, canines. They were on their hands and knees searching through the grass. And no one finds a third .32 caliber shell casing. Deputy Conley says, maybe it got stuck in a boot. Maybe. 2 shots. 2 .32 caliber shell casings. The state wants you to believe that there are 4 victims, that 1 bullet from 1 gun went in the direction of 3 officers. 3 officers who, by their own testimony, were in different directions from Mr. Brown. Some said 20 feet away from one another. Deputy Coltrip said 10 to 20 yards, depending on which officer you're talking about, but a substantial distance apart. It is not substantially likely that 1 bullet fired in 1 direction is going to endanger the safety of 3 people who are such great distances apart. And your common sense will tell you that. You've been told you can use your common sense. Your common sense will tell you that a bullet fired in 1 direction is not just going to veer 20 feet to the left. It's not going to go 10 yards to the right. And if you don't trust your common sense, Deputy Conley actually testified to that a bullet fired in a direction, it will indeed go straight. In fact, the only testimony we have about which direction this bullet was fired is contradictory. 2 shots, 2 shell casings. But Deputy Coltrip says he fired directly at me. Deputy Avila says, no, he fired at me. He stopped, he had to check himself. He fired at Deputy Avila. And Deputy Tiff said, no, he fired at K9 Riggs. And the state says, just pick one. Had to go towards somebody. Beyond a reasonable doubt, just pick one. I'm not here to tell you that you have to approve of Mr. Brown's actions. That's not why you're here. Your job is to hold the state to their burden beyond a reasonable doubt. And they're telling you beyond a reasonable doubt, just pick one. That's enough for those first 3 counts. At the start of this case, my co-counsel came up here and he said He asked you to keep an open mind, to listen to the testimony, to watch it. And you've done that over the last 2 days. That is exactly what you did. And you saw the inconsistencies and you heard them. He also asked you to hold the state accountable to their burden beyond a reasonable doubt. And I'm here to ask you to do the same thing, to hold the state accountable, to hold them to that burden of beyond a reasonable doubt, and ask that you find Mr. Brown not guilty of these charges.
Thank you. The state's rebuttal.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be brief. Attorney Quinter indicated that this was a quick, intense, and stressful situation, which leaves inconsistencies in testimony. And I agree. But it doesn't leave inconsistencies in digital evidence. And that's why I had you watch the body camera over and over and over again, almost ad nauseum at the point we were done. Because while officers are trying to remember something that happened quickly and trying to remember it over a year later, again, body camera and video evidence doesn't lie. And that evidence, if you listen to it carefully, as Investigator Conley did over 35 times, shows you that the defendant fired 3 shots. It shows you that he fired it at officers. And I submit to you that even the first shot is enough to find the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of the first 3 counts. Because anytime you fire behind you while running, without looking at moving targets, you endanger the safety of anyone in that area, because you could strike anyone. And all 3 officers were in that area. They were all chasing the defendant. And he recklessly endangered their lives, not only with that shot alone, but also the subsequent shot, of which there is clear testimony. So we are not asking you to speculate. We are not asking you to guess. We are asking you to follow the evidence, which in this case shows beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty. Thank you.
All right, the closing of arguments have now been completed. Members of the jury, the duties of counsel in the court have been performed. Case has been argued by counsel. The court has instructed you regarding the rules of law which should govern you in your deliberations. Time has now come when the great burden of reaching a just, fair, and conscientious decision of this case is thrown wholly upon you, the jurors, selected for this important duty. You will not be swayed by sympathy, prejudice, or passion. You'll be very careful and deliberate in weighing the evidence. I charge you to keep your duties steadfastly in mind as upright citizens. Render a just and true verdict. You are to decide only on whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty of the offenses charged. Any consequences of your verdict are matters for the court alone to decide and must not affect your deliberations. Unanimous verdict and selection of a presiding juror. This is a criminal, not a civil case. Therefore, before the jury may return a verdict which may be legally received, the verdict must be reached unanimously. In a criminal case, all 12 jurors must agree in order to arrive at a verdict. When you retire to the jury room, select one of your members to preside over your deliberations. The presiding juror's vote is entitled to no greater weight than the vote of any other juror. If you need to communicate with the court while you are deliberating, send a note to the bailiff signed by the presiding juror. To have a complete record of this trial, it's important that you communicate with the court only by written note. If you have questions, the court will talk with the attorneys before answering, so it may take some time. You should continue your deliberations while you wait for an answer. The court will answer any question in writing or orally here in open court. When you have agreed upon your verdict, have it signed and dated by the person you have selected to preside. After you reach a verdict, The presiding juror will notify the bailiff that a verdict has been reached. Everyone will return to the courtroom. The verdict will be read into the record in open court. The court may ask each of you if you agree with the verdict. At this time, we will swear in the bailiffs if they could come forward.
Subject to the direction of the court until they've agreed on the verdict or discharged by the court, and that you will not before they render the verdict communicate to any person the state of deliberations or the verdict they've agreed upon. So help you God.
All right, the bailiffs have been sworn. You can follow the bailiffs. You can start your deliberations. Again, folks, we'll bring you in lunch today at 12 o'clock, okay? All right, the jury is outside of the courtroom. The attorney should be available. If you're going to go anywhere, leave a phone number. But if we have a question, I want you back here as soon as possible. And if we do have a question, we're going to have the defendant brought back also. So anything else before we break away from the state?
No, thank you.
Anything else from the defense?
No, thank you.
All right, again, leave a number. We want you to be immediately. Thank you. And we'll call for the defendant if we need him.
That was really quick. Yeah. Don't go anywhere, guys. I don't even think I should end the live. We could just stay live and chit chat. So how's everybody doing today? Sue, good morning. How long do you think it will take? Here's what I'm thinking. I think they might hang out just to have the pizza. Hey, pizza's coming. Let's just hang out for a little while. That we don't want to go, because if we leave too soon, we might have to go back to work. So let's have pizza. That would be my thought process. But I think if I was a judge, I would have just said, show of hands. Show of hands. Okay, guilty. All right, we're done. Oh my God. Yeah, Carl. Well, they got to get time. They got to elect a 4-person. They got to fill out the forms because there is 9 counts and there's multiple sections to each count because like the first count is reckless endangerment of the safety of others. And it goes to 3 different officers. So it'll take them longer to fill out the form than it will to reach a verdict, I'm sure. Sherilyn says, I'm guessing 30 minutes to an hour, maybe. There was no defense, like ineffective assistance of counsel. Check. Yeah. Night and day between Mr. Escobar from last week and whoever this guy is. I mean, I hope the Wisconsin Bar Association is watching this guy because, wow, they need to take a closer look at that lawyer. Yeah. He looked seriously just out of it. Although when he did ask questions, they were clear. They were, they made sense. I don't know. Maybe this is, some people just have that look about them, I guess. I don't know. Or he was assigned to this case intentionally. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. Clearly he's a public defender. I have a feeling the woman that was there probably is also a public defender or maybe even an intern that was to say, hey, go help him out, just give him a little nudge to keep him awake. Wow. He looked like he was sleeping most of the time, but he wasn't, but it looked like that he was, or maybe, I don't know, maybe he was, who knows? done with everything. Life. I'm done with life. I don't know. That was so weird. Okay, the jury's not back yet. I got to get it. I have to pull it back up because I shut it down. That was pretty funny. Oh my goodness. So we will be on verdict watch here now. I'll stay for a few minutes and we'll see what happens with the jury. Gee, I didn't mean to pull up myself. That was, oops. Okay, that was wrong. I meant to pull up the dog case. All right. He has not been tried in Chicago yet, so he still has to face the 2 homicide charges that he has in Chicago. And well, the mailman is early. Well, it's not early, it's 10:30. I slept in this morning. Okay, so they are out on verdict watch on the channel. I'm going to bring that in just so I can watch them. In case they come back with a quick verdict. But like I said, they still have to fill out that form, which is going to take them a little bit. Maybe he's the umpire we had at the Women's National Baseball Tournament. I don't know. Yeah, I think they're going to stick around for the pizza, to be honest with you. That's what's going on now. We're just watching the seal of the great state of Wisconsin. I'm going to go have some breakfast and I'll come back when they have a verdict, but it's going to be a quick verdict. Like, he's not going to wait around for everybody to gather and do everything like that. I'm thinking I'll just stay here. I don't know. Lunch is an hour and a half away. Who knows? Keely has a question. If a few members of any jury get COVID during the court, will they have to get new jury members, and will they have to start over, or just give the new jury members a heads up? Well, usually there are alternates. That's why you have alternates. During the during the Murdaugh case, one or two of the jurors came down with COVID. And so they released that juror, replaced him with an alternate, and then they had a doctor come in, test the entire jury for COVID. The rest were negative. And then they had the doctor come back in 2 or 3 days and test them again, and they were still all negative. So that's how they handled it there. In this case, there were no alternates. I think they knew that this was going to be an open shut case, and I didn't hear him dismiss any alternates. So I'm assuming they didn't have alternates. They just had the 12 people. But no, they wouldn't dismiss the entire jury. They would probably handle it the way I just described. One juror called in sick already, so no extra. Okay, so that's what happened. Sue is my expert on the spot. Johnny on the spot with the answer. Thank you. So they did have an alternate and they had to use it. Okay. Probably not. It might have been COVID. I'm hearing a lot more about COVID these days. My sister-in-law had it. Another friend of mine had it. Although the strain that they're getting now is much less virulent. They're hardly sick at all, but they can't go out because it's COVID and you don't want to give it to anybody else. But that's what I know. Oh, finally, my comments are on the StreamYard. For a while, I wasn't getting comments on StreamYard. I don't know why, but now I am. So I got a copyright claim on my crochet video from last night, and I woke up thinking, what did I do wrong? So apparently when I showed the black man, the 65-year-old black man dancing around to the music of Marvin Gaye, so yeah, so silly. It was like, 10 seconds of Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing. I won't sing it because I don't want to get another claim, but it doesn't count against me or anything. It just means I can't earn money on that video. I can't earn the 2 cents I would have earned on that video. So I'll have to give up the 2 cents. The music was the claim. Yep. Now, not the black guy. Well, I could show him again, but I just have to mute the music. Anybody want to see him? He was gorgeous. Oh, Mickey's awake. Mickey, why aren't you here with us? Mickey. She doesn't know I'm live. Yeah. And I've just stopped singing on the channel. They don't like that either. Actually, I don't think I've ever had a claim on my singing. It's just the actual music that I've had a claim on. Like I sing Happy Birthday, and that's copyrighted, by the way, but I sing it all the time. I don't care. Whatever. Just means I can't earn the 2 cents on the video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, though, guys. We have 16 people watching. Yay. Carl says, please, please. Oh, please don't sing. No singing. That's the other thing I've never gotten a copyright claim on is the duck song. I'm not going to sing it, but I'm just saying I've never gotten a claim on that one. And it's got to be copyrighted. I'm sure it is. I thought maybe it was because I showed like a tiny bit of the pattern, but really not the whole thing. And I thought maybe that was it, but no, it was that song. It's so funny. You're going to report that one. Okay, Carl. You do that. You're funny. So I've started on the new painting. So far, so good. I'm really enjoying it. I always enjoy diamond painting. I really do. But man, my sinuses got worse after the live last night. So I went and I laid down. I diamond painted for a few minutes. I just wanted to finish the section I was working on. Then I went and laid down. That helped a little, laying down. Keela says, I can't wait until they have the trial on the New Orleans guy. What's going on in New Orleans? There's so many good trials coming up. There really are. I'm glad I retired. I get to cover them all. I'm just having the time of my life, just doing trials. It's fun. Crafting trials. I do some housework, not a lot, but some, here and there. Walk the dogs. That's my life. The guy that was wrapped in the rug. What? Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I have a Discord that, Carl, if you could pull the link to the Discord out of the description, I think it's in the description, and put it in the chat. I'm going to start a room in the Discord just for suggestions of cases you guys want me to cover. So I think I'll do that probably later on this afternoon. I'll do that, but make sure you join the Discord because I put a lot of the updates into the Discord. I should put that I'm alive, huh? This Discord is fun. My clock actually sounds awake today, not like it's dying. Yeah, if you're going to kill somebody, I guess you should wrap them in a rug. I don't even have a rug that is that big that I could wrap somebody in. Carl had a case that he sent to me that he actually knows the people that are involved. He knows the woman that was shot, and he knows the man that shot her. So he's got insight into that case. That'll be interesting. Sherilyn says, I'm unfamiliar with how Discord works. Does it send out notifications when anyone posts to it? I don't know. I don't get notified. I just have to go in and look. So I don't know that it does send out notifications. Carl might know. I'm not sure. I know that's terrible, but let's see. I'm going to add a channel for show suggestions. Did I add it? I don't know what I just did. Oh, channel type text. I thought I added it. I don't know. I'll play around with it later. I'm still learning this thing too. Crosses on Android. I know you can turn on notifications for it. Okay. You can turn on notifications if you want. So let me see if I can turn on notifications for that. Maybe in the settings of my phone. Let's see. Notifications. Discord. Okay, I have allow notifications on, so I probably just ignore it when I do hear it. How can they find him guilty of driving when the car never moved? The car didn't move because it was disabled by OnStar. He was inside the vehicle. He was putting the brakes lights kept going on and off because he was trying to start that car. So maybe that's why. Mickey just woke up. That's why she's not here. And now she's here. Hi, Mickey. Good morning. Get your coffee, get your bagel. The jury has heard the closing arguments, which were incredibly brief, like really brief. And we all wanted to see that male defense lawyer get up and do the closing. He did not. He had the female lawyer do it. So we didn't get that entertainment. We were denied. So they are deliberating now. I think the judge has said he doesn't want anybody basically to leave because he's pretty sure it's going to be very quick too. Yeah, he was in that parking lot for 54 minutes with that car. I don't think there's any doubt that, he was trying to drive that car. I mean, how else would the car have, nobody else was claiming that car. And I mean, if he denied it, his prints were all over the car. That guy just had one hell of a morning there. He kills 2 people in Chicago, drives up to Wisconsin, probably stopped there to go to the bathroom or something at Benson's Corner, and Encore shuts the car off. Brief recap. Mickey, this is the officer involved shooting. They were notified all right, let me start from the beginning. The Wisconsin police were notified by OnStar and the Chicago police that this car was involved in a homicide up in Chicago, and that OnStar had tracked it GPS location to this Benson's Corner Shell gas station. So the police proceeded over there to see if it was there. They were asked by Chicago detectives to take in custody the driver and just hold him until they could get there. So they waited till they got 4 officers into the parking lot. Then they decided they were going to do a high-level traffic stop. When they asked him to get out of the vehicle, he got out of the vehicle and he ran. He had a gun in his pocket, which he pulled out, fired at the officers. They released a canine on him. The canine bit him, got a hold of him. He shot the canine in the head. And at that point, officers opened fire on him, shot him several times. He survived. He's sitting there in the courtroom. He tried to escape from the hospital while he was in there. Then when he was in detention, he assaulted a corrections officer. Now, he's not on trial for all that, but yeah. This is not a good guy. So he was involved in 2 homicides up in Chicago. He killed a guy. He got into an altercation with a guy at a bus stop and he murdered him. I don't know how. There's no details on it. Then the guy that owned the vehicle was sitting in his car, warming it up. It was like 1:00 in the morning. He was behind a bar. The defendant stole his car and killed him, and then took the car and drove up to Wisconsin. The dog survived. The bullet went right in here, like in the dog's head, and then kind of took a path and it came out, it exited out the back of his ear. It went around his skull, like, the dog just had a really bad concussion. Um, yeah, poor dog. He was in the animal hospital for 3 days, and then when he came out, he had a line of officers, canine officers there to greet him. It was so moving, so moving. And he never took anger management classes. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that guy that morning. I don't know if he had like a bad breakup with his girlfriend. I don't know. He just went crazy. So, anyway. So I'm saying he probably did he stop at Buc-ee's? No. It was a Shell gas station called Benson's Corner. Probably stopped there because he had to go to the bathroom or something, and then OnStar shuts off his car. They disabled the vehicle, so he couldn't go anywhere. So he sat there for 54 minutes trying to figure out why his car wouldn't start before the officers pulled up behind him. So, interesting case. So he's facing 9 counts of various things, including the shooting of the dog, the attempted murder on the officers, not attempted murder, but reckless endangerment of safety. Now, he was offered a plea agreement. He chose not to take it. He's kind of an arrogant guy, this defendant. And he's got public defenders, rallying for him. The guy's half asleep most of the time. It was only a 2-day trial. Maybe 3 if you count the jury selection. So I think they might be waiting for pizza is what I'm thinking. They're gonna eat their pizza before they come out. Sounds like an idiot. Yep, he's an idiot. Mickey, you still gotta watch the video though, because I show the shooting. Yeah, I actually put in the footage of the shooting. It was all on body cam. How cool is it that body cams now, they come on automatically once you get closer to the location of the call, and it can be turned on by dispatch or it can be turned on by the officer. So there's 3 different ways that the body cam can come on now. Pretty nifty, huh? So if you're going to commit crimes, don't have OnStar in your vehicle. Don't do that. I don't know how he committed the homicides up in Chicago, but I'm suspecting that they were shootings as well. I really couldn't find anything on it during my research, like no details of those crimes. Sounds like an idiot. Yeah. Yep. The officers wear a device that looks like a watch. Yeah, they can also use the body cam as a camera. They can put it in picture mode and use it to take pictures, which is why the canine officer didn't have body cam footage, because he had just been at a burglary investigation and he was taking pictures with his body cam and forgot to put it back into video mode. So when he got to the scene of the dog incident, he thought he had turned on his body cam, but it was still in picture mode, so no body cam footage from him. But we have body cam footage from the other officers. There's plenty of footage of this. The defendant was shot in the abdomen. They thought he was shot in his left arm, but they figured out that was the dog bite. The body cams are in the vest, not clipped on. Yeah, they're actually part of the vest. It's really cool the way they have it now. But they said they had just gotten those, so it was new to them as well. So they were probably just getting used to that equipment. So what is everybody doing while we wait? Are you guys, Carl, are you home from work today? Again? Not feeling well? People were asking about you during the live last night. Wanted to know, where's Carl? We thought he was going to be on. Oh, your son-in-law. Is he a police officer, Sue? Oh, you're home today. Okay. I'm sorry. Too bad you don't have Diablo to play. Oh, gosh, I can't wait for that to come out in June. That's going to be cool. I'm saving my money to purchase the pre-order or the order whenever I'm saving my money for it. I've already paid for Hogwarts Legacy when that comes out, but who knows when that's going to come out. It's supposed to be May sometime. Sherilyn's diamond painting with granddaughter, a while granddaughter naps, working on Springtime Splendor. Ooh, nice. Sue says, yes, he was on the evening shift when that happened. Oh, cool. That he works for that department, Sue? That's interesting. See, I was married to a police officer back in the day when there was no body camera footage of anything that happened. They need that in a lot of departments. That's cool, Sue. That's interesting. Sue's got the inside scoop here. Yes, she does. Danielle, good morning. I'm just hanging out here with my peeps. We're waiting for a verdict in this dog case. The jury has been deliberating now for, 15, 20 minutes. But I don't expect it's going to take them long to find this guy guilty. The real question is, are they waiting for the pizza? Are they going to eat the pizza first and then come out? Or they just decide they don't want lunch and they're just going to come back with the verdict? I don't know. The judge did not tell anybody that they could leave the courtroom. He said, you guys need to stay very close because I want you to come back immediately when we have a verdict. So I'm just hanging out here talking to everybody. What are you doing today, Danielle? Are you working? Danielle is a dog groomer. She grooms the doggies. This shepherd is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. His name is Riggs. Let me show you a picture of him. I put it in my video, but a lot of people just listen to my video. They don't really look at the screen. So let me show you a picture of the dog. He's adorbs. Let's see. Where is he? There's Riggs. Oh, you're working on a standard poodle. Oh, good luck. If you watch the Wisconsin versus Zach Anderson, he was in charge of the defendant. Oh, okay. I'll have to go back and look. So here is the dog leaving the hospital, the animal hospital. See the line of canine officers? That's as he was leaving the hospital. Isn't that touching? Wonder if he was named after Lethal Weapon. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. What other pictures? Thought I had another picture of the dog. His fur is grown over. He has, where the bullet went in and where the bullet exited. He's got scarring there, but his fur is grown over it. He takes anticonvulsant medication just to make sure that he, doesn't suffer any seizures. I don't know if he's still on it or not, but he did. Carl's almost done with his mystery painting. Yay. Wow, is that pretty? This is one of the, somebody is almost done with their somebody named Kylie. Look at that mystery painting. Are those butterflies? They are. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. I love that one. I wonder who sold that one. Oh, it's a Diamond Art Club. That is cool. Wow. All right. Neat. Keely says, do you have any don't touch me dogs, Danielle, when you groom? I'm curious about that. Mickey says he's also been charged with attempted murder of a police officer. Yes, police dogs are officers, aren't they? Cruelty to animals, different charges regarding the animals. Yeah. A couple of charges with regards to the animals. Now the handler is there. I imagine the dog is probably out in the vehicle, in the parking lot, but yeah, the handler is in the courtroom. I'm answering text messages. Danielle says you have to be careful with them. Really? Wow. All right. Do you have to use a muzzle on those dogs? I don't know. My little Jake, man, he would not let me touch me. He would not let me touch him. Like I could not even attempt to groom him. But if I took him, like he would try to bite me. So when I took him to the groomers, he would just it was amazing what he would let these groomers do to him. And it didn't bother him, but I was not allowed to touch him. I think they just have a way with dogs, the groomers do. Danielle too. Danielle's really good with them. I've actually seen her do it. If you go on Zoom, sometimes you can watch her grooming her dogs. Oh, maybe they did, Carl. He got the dog in 2014. When did that movie come out? I don't even know. That movie's older than that, isn't it? You have to. Oh, she does. She does use Muslim, and you have to be careful. Yeah. Do you charge them more? Which one? There's been 4. Oh gosh. I don't know. Was there a Riggs in the movie? I have no idea. Carl's my movie buff person. Well, I am diamond painting this morning. I really don't have anything else to do today. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, but nothing scheduled for today. We're supposed to have super high winds today, 50, 60 mile an hour winds this afternoon. Lisa, what are you sending me? Oh, there's your puppy. He's so little. Here's Lisa's dog. The shadow's bigger than the dog. Oh, at the end, I really want to increase the price by 12 million, but yeah, there's a small increase. Oh, see, there's a endangerment charge. Anything going on with the jury? Okay, they've been deliberating for 30 minutes. It shouldn't take longer than that, 30 minutes, really, to get a verdict. We'll hang out here for a little bit longer. Yeah, I really think they're just waiting for their pizza. Mel Gibson's character was Riggs. Okay. Hi, Heidi. How are you? Thank you for coming by. That's Cross Stitch with Orchid. She has a channel, Cross Stitch with Orchid. Check it out. She's an amazing cross stitcher. Oh my gosh. Lisa says her dog is 4.6 pounds. He always looks like a lamb after he goes to the groomer. 13 years old. Wow. She's calling me out on my white Santa. It's over there. This weekend I'm gonna work on it. I promise. I should just get it out today, shouldn't I? I don't have to diamond paint. I could just get out. Yeah, maybe. All right, you guilted me into it, Heidi. I'll get out the diamond. I'll get out the white Santa and work on it. You guys. Oh, I'm not awake. I need more coffee. I'm going to go refill my coffee. Be right back, guys. Sorry. What I was asking was, where's the Zoom? Send me the link to the Zoom. That's basically what it boils down to, what I was saying. Yeah. Anyway, I've unmuted. I know. I always forget. I don't know. I love pizza, but not enough to hang around at the courthouse. Could there be any holdouts? I mean, come on. How many people think he's not guilty? Anybody? Anybody think he's not guilty? I mean, it's all on video. How do you deny the guilt? My coffee cup is cute. You know what? This is one of those, oh my gosh. What is that lady that designs stuff for Walmart? She's a chef. Crashley has all of the stuff. She loves it. Let me look at the bottom. Hold on. The Pioneer Woman. That's the one I'm thinking of. Pioneer Woman. Yep. Yep, that's it, Sherilyn. It's a Pioneer Woman cup. You're right, Keely. We have a winner. Yep. Pioneer Woman. I'm just looking at my stuff. I bought this yarn. I don't know what to make with it. I want to make something with it. Look. Carl was going to say Rachel Ray. No, not Rachel Ray. Look how beautiful this yarn is. I think I'll make a shawl or something with it. It's a 6-weight. This is, what is the material? Recycled polyester. No wonder it feels so nice. Anyway, I need to make something out of that one of these days. Last time he went to the groomer, they left his ears long. I took him back. He looked ridiculous. My daughter had picked him up. Oh, why did they do that? I wonder. Rebecca, have you used charcoal for your art? I have not used charcoal. What would I use charcoal for? I don't even. Charcoal art? Is there? I don't know. That sounds messy. Let me look that up. Hold on. Oh, look at the. There's Lisa's dog. Look at him. How cute is he? Says, Mom, I'm cold. I'm living in Alaska. Drawing people, which I am not that good of an artist. Come on, where I can use charcoal. I don't think so. Charcoal drawings. I don't know. It's messy but fun. Oh, you guys. You want me to go down another rabbit hole, right? All right, let me look it up. Charcoal. Maybe there's a YouTube on it. I'm sure there is. There's a YouTube on everything. Charcoal art. Ooh. I don't know, guys. You got to be pretty good to do that. Wow. No. I'm thinking no. Ooh, they have. All right, let me go to Amazon. Let's go to Amazon. See what they have for charcoal. Charcoal. Charcoal art set. Huh. Are they going to give me like step-by-step instructions on how to do it? Thank you, Danielle. I will drop in. Let's see. Charcoal art. Supplies. Maybe like a tutorial thing. How to draw everything. No, don't need that. Techniques and tutorials for the complete beginner. See, there's that book there for the complete beginner. That would be me, a complete beginner. Carl says no charcoal drawing and wood burning or are two different things. Yeah. Oh, you know who does wood burning is Jeremy. Oh my God. He does some amazing stuff. How to draw with charcoal. Yeah. I think I'm going to pass on the charcoal, guys, unless you really want me to get, that would be so messy. Oh my gosh. I'm going to stick to the watercolor. Yeah. I can't afford another rabbit hole. Oh my goodness. So I've been live for an hour and 30 minutes. I'm afraid if I stop, they'll have a verdict. As soon as I shut down, they'll have a verdict. So I think I'm just going to hang out here. They can't possibly be taking that long to raise their hand and say guilty. You would think. I don't know. But they haven't even been deliberating for an hour. It took the judge longer to read the jury instructions than the closing arguments. The closing arguments were really brief. The only thing the defense challenged was the counts where he fired at the officers. They didn't deny the dog shooting. I mean, how could you? It's all on tape. That's what it is, Robin. They're filling in all the paperwork. Nice to see you, by the way. I have a little quiz. We could do a quiz. Want to do a true crime quiz? Let's see. Match the gruesome memorabilia with the auction price. Answers are on the back. A painting by John Wayne Gacy. They auctioned this off. How much do you think it went for? What? So apparently John Wayne Gacy became a prolific painter while he sat on death row for the rape and murder of 33 boys. Painting by John Wayne Gacy. Those are his winter jammies, Lisa. Any guesses how much this painting went for? It was called A Killer Clown. Or he was called The Killer Clown. I don't know. One or the other. Millions. You're close. No. No, it wasn't millions. 1,200, no clue, 500K. No, it went for $7,000. Now, I wonder who gets that money. The auction house. No. Who was auctioning the painting? All right. How about a lock of Charles Manson's hair? Somebody auctioned a lock of Charles Manson's hair. Oh my gosh. They had to mark it down. Apparently nobody wanted it. Oh my goodness. That's funny. Okay, Lisa sent me another pic. I have to put it up here. Where did it go? Oh, you did Instagram. Hold on. Instagram. Oh yeah, I showed that one. This one, Lisa wanted me to show you that one. Yeah. How macabre. Why are you using those big words, Mickey? $2.50. Okay. Robin says 200. Sue says one person was buying all of Gacy's paintings to destroy them. Oh. Keely says 3,000. Well, you're close. They had to mark it down to $2,950. That was in 2019. Oh, wait a minute. It started at $2,950 and they marked it down to $2,400. Keely, you were very close. So it went for $2,400. Why do you want that? That's disgusting. I don't know. How about Ted Kaczynski's handwritten manifesto? Oh, I wonder. In 2011 auction of the Unabomber's belongings raised a total of $190,000. All proceeds were donated to his victims' families. So out of that, he had a handwritten manifesto that was part of that auction. Yeah, that's the one I got, Lisa. Oh, here it is. Here he is in his jammies. Oh my gosh. They look like little baby doll jammies. You're as bad as me with the dog outfits. That's funny. So his handwritten manifesto went for, are you guys ready? $20,053. That means somebody bid 20,000 and then he got overbid by $53. Wow. But that money all went to his victims. Oh my gosh. Now this next one is ridiculous. Dirt from serial killers Gary Heidnick's basement. Why in the heck would you want that? Apparently not many people did want it. You get raising money for the families, but what would you do with it? Burn it? I don't know. Just a conversation piece. You know, you have a party and invite people over and hey, I have Ted Kaczynski's manifesto. I don't know. Weird. And maybe they just bought it so, you know, it's like, here, I'm donating 20,000, like, you know, whatever. Keely says, so cute. I have a cat, an Atlas 9. That's his name, Atlas 9. Oh, okay. Does not like clothes at all. I went to put them on him and he will take 2 steps and will plop down and will not move until you take the clothes off. Jake was like that. You could not put stuff. He thought he couldn't move if you put a sweater on him. He just stood there. He would not move. He was like frozen. So you had to take it off. And half the time you couldn't get it on him. So apparently this guy, Gary Heidnick, would, he kept his victims in the basement. That's where the dirt's from. And it only went for $40. That's pretty sick. Oh, God. The Hillside Strangler was wearing a belt when he was arrested, and the belt buckle was auctioned off. This is so weird. That one went for $1,500. Okay, so that was a hit. We're done. That's why I didn't read it during the show the other day. Very weird. Very, very weird. Tootsie loves her sweaters. Oh my gosh. If I ask her if she wants to put one on, she'll come running to me. She lets me put it on her. You would donate money to have his stuff incinerated. Yeah. Just burn it. Yeah. It's just weird that they would auction any of that stuff off. I mean, that's just sick. What's even sicker is that I just read all that to you. Well, nothing going on. Nothing going on. We do not have a verdict. Rhonda says 10,000. Nope. Would you want the belt buckle? Nah. I don't even know who that killer is. What did they call him? Oh, the Strangler, the Hillside Strangler. Yeah. I don't know. So show of hands. Guilty? Guilty? Should we just call it a day? We'll just call the judge and say, hey, we found him guilty. You can send everybody home now. I think so. Yeah, Robin, go to bed. Don't stay up, honey. It's not worth it. Good night, Robin. We'll sing you a lullaby. She's in Australia. For those of you who don't know, guilty for sure. Yep. Robin's like, he's guilty. I'm going to bed. No surprise there. We want drama. We want like the guy to break out, try to run away, try to escape. That'd be drama, wouldn't it? Carl says no. He hates when I sing. I don't know any lullabies. I only know the duck song. And she doesn't want me to sing the duck song because then it would be in her head and she wouldn't be able to go to sleep. So I'm not going to sing it. I could sing the Marvin Gaye and get another copyright claim. But I don't know the words to Sexual Healing. I can hear the music in my head, but I don't know the words. Yep, Lisa, my turn to get you. You got me last time. Quickest let's ask. Alexa, what was the quickest jury deliberation ever?
From casedex.com, counsel argued the original jurors had deliberated for more than 2 days, but the reconstituted jury voted to convict in only 47 minutes, which included selecting a new foreperson. Would you like to play a round of Trivia Royale skill?
No. 47 minutes? That doesn't sound right. It's good now. Interesting. Better not. No, Robin, you don't want it. You don't want that in your head before you go to sleep. Nope. Oh, sorry, Carl. Yes, I should give an Alexa warning. See, I should do what Mickey does and rename my Alexa. She calls hers computer. So she like Star Trek, computer. Hey. And then she asks it a question. So I could rename mine. Then it wouldn't turn on everybody else's Alexa. All right. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, guys, while you're in here. Don't forget. I don't even know if it's been 45 minutes yet. Yeah, they're going to eat their pizza first, no doubt. Thank you for putting in the Discord, Carl. I appreciate it. If you guys want to join the Discord, Carl just put in the link. I do include updates in the Discord there. Yep. So what time is it now? 11:27. I'm going to keep watching. I will sit here. I'm going to end the live. I'm going to put a thumbnail up for the verdict. And but look for it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end this live. I'll go live as quick as I can when we have a verdict. And hopefully you guys can all jump in for that. But I think they're going to sit and eat their pizza first. So that's only 30 minutes away. Watch, when I end the live, they'll come back with a verdict. So that'll make it happen quicker, right? All right, guys, get some rest, get some more coffee, get some popcorn, have breakfast. I'll see you guys very soon, probably. Take care, everybody. Bye.